Worth anything on the scoreboard, Italy would have a 10-point start. Here's their team. The Italy coach Massimo Brunello has kept changes to a minimum, just two, both in the pack. Lapo Frangini missed the trip to France because of injury. He's a hooker. Carlo Bellesi comes into the back row. Scrum half Alessandro Garbisi is the younger brother of Paolo, who starts against England in Rome on Sunday. Lorenzo Pani, he was part of that strong Italy team in last season's championship. Well, as for England, they make half a dozen alterations. Finn Baxter returns from club duty with Harlequins to captain the side. Emeka Ilioni comes straight into the number 8, or in at number 8, I should say. Toby Knight, who had been a bit of an injury doubt, he moved to the open side but is fit to go. Jamie Benson made the backline tick over nicely when he came off the bench against Scotland, and he starts at 10. George Hendy comes in at fullback. Here are the replacements. Italy hooker Tommaso Scramoncin has dropped to the bench after starting in Mont-de-Marsan. If he gets on, the Leicester Tiger Sam Edwards will make his debut at this level for England. So there is the referee. Aurélie Guizelot played for France at both 15s and 7s. Her playing career, that is, cut short by injury. And she turned swiftly and quite smoothly to becoming a referee. So we're all set to go in Italian rugby's heartland. Can Italy find something that they struggled to get hold of in the opening half hour in Mont-de-Marsan? As for England, well, there were one or two gremlins against Scotland, particularly in the opening hour. They will hope that their engine just ticks over that little bit more smoothly this evening. Well, it's a clear night. There's no wind blowing out there. It's pretty mild as well. It's a stunning night in Italy. And England looking to make it 2 out of 2. And there's a big hit, Dowie. And we expect the Italians to try and match England for physicality.
Yeah, and that was the same thing I think that I expected to do against France down in a rainy Mont-de-Marsan last Friday. Unfortunately, they just didn't roll the sleeves up. France got an early start. They lost too many balls in key positions and really didn't get a foothold in that first half. But they're a settled side, they're a big side, they're a passionate side. It's just where they can convert that passion into points.
Good exit there from Matty Jones. Anything up towards halfway is good. It certainly is one feature when you watch Antoine Dupont now, the World Player of the Year. And don't forget, he was playing at this level just 6 seasons ago. His exits from the 22, even deep in them, Dowie, can go beyond halfway.
Well, it is a big part of the modern game, and that's part of the modern game, nicking a throw. So a good start for England.
Yes, it was Alfie Bell. The two locks for England, both 6'8".
Tackler, not holding, number 10.
First carry there from Emeka Ilioni, who has had 1 or 2 injury problems in recent times. He wasn't considered for selection last week, sent back to his club, the Leicester Tigers, and he's back here in his 2nd season at this level.
And that's the other thing with Italy, they are prone for giving away a lot of penalties. There's the big fella going through the middle. That's okay, he can place the ball now and they're off their feet, stopping the procedure of that ball out the back, and a penalty given straight away.
So John Stewart, the Bath hooker, finds one of the big fellas, Tom Lockett, on there from Benson. Jamie Benson at fly half tonight for England. There from Grayson. England looking to get the ball through the hands, but perhaps a little bit like last week, not quite as slick as it might be. That was taken in by the wing, Diego Bailey. Bailey, one of the survivors from last year, but now it's England who are penalised holding the ball in the tackle.
Yeah, but you've got to understand, you know, this under-20s is a fantastic competition. It's a great pathway for the future of these guys, for both Italy and for England. But England come in making 6 changes today. Obviously, it was almost a fresh squad from the ones from last year that was played down in Cardiff. So you are going to be a bit rusty, because it's the exuberance of youth, I think it's called, Martin. These guys want to impress. And that lad, Henry Arundel, man of the match, certainly impressed. But like you said, pre-season in those Indies, he's playing for London Irish tonight.
Yes, Davide Odiese, who plays on the blindside flank tonight for Italy, was very quick there at the breakdown for Italy. He forced a turnover. Rising high there was Autumbina, one of the Italy try scorers last week. England have come in from the side, so there's a penalty advantage. That's Frangini, unavailable last week against France, so it's a free hit here to the Italians. Bit of space here. The England defence just found itself a little bit narrow for a moment. This is Pani within 6 metres. Tremendous start here from the Italians. Out there from Garbisi. England being forced into making tackles here.
No advantage.
Referee
Side
decides
entry.
there's no advantage.
Come back
England
on
having come in
advantage.
from the side, so Garbisi just going over there to weigh up his options.
Number 5.
The referee
Side
stamping
entry.
her authority on the game straight away. She wants a quick game. She wants people off that ball.
Yeah.
And it's all Italy at the moment, isn't it? This is what they wanted to do against France.
Yes.
And unfortunately, they weren't able to. They're a very strong side, cohesive. And again, it's a play to nothing now. The penalty's already given, so they can have that free play and see what happens. Unfortunately, they give a penalty away, but it comes back to there. Here they go again. I think they won't do anything different. They'll be catching drive time.
So it's Frangini. Goes to Odiese. Frangini going in there to get the ball. The maul at the moment being defended pretty well by England, but now it's going forward for the Italians. Frangini just losing his footing.
No, back. Stand
Who's
back.
going to take control of this? It's a little bit slow from the Italians. A chance for the England defence to reset itself. That England player just has to get out of the way. Little pick and go, but the ball lost there. Did it slip forward? The referee says not. Odiese just being pushed to one side. The big fellas are lining up here. 1 metre out, the Italians. Perhaps one more go this time. Balesi getting his hands on the ball. Just a few
Not worrying.
blades of Treviso grass there. England have come in from the side. So once again, the penalty advantage back there to Taneji. The cross kick, Pani's underneath it! And he's dropped it. He's put it down. There is the frustration for Italy.
Shades of Murrayfield there. Was no Cowan-Dickey on the field at this time. He dropped it, scored a cracker in that second half. They batter again. It's a free play and the right thing to do. Orchestrated from the fly half when that ball eventually comes out. We will see from this angle. He catches it. Oh, he doesn't catch it. Straight through the bread basket. If he had caught it and just flopped on, that would have been the try. As it is, they go back and they'll just go for 3.
Well, it's an interesting call from Italy, this, because England had conceded 2 penalties in that so-called red zone.
And that does get in referees' minds, and they're thinking, right, well, I would have, to be truthful, I would have popped this into the corner and said, right, OK, we've won 2 good line-outs, we've had 2 good drives, let's force England's hand again. They ratchet up the penalty, they go down to 14. But there again, some people say points on the board. Well, he's got to get it now. That's the decision.
These two sides last met on the final day of last year's under-26 nations, which, because of the pandemic.
On the line.
There you go, the referee just telling all the England players to get behind the line. They met on that final day in Cardiff. England winning it by 27 points to 17. And Taneji, who was knocking them over with ease in warm-up, has taken that form into the match itself. Italy lead by 3 points to 0. Poor old Lorenzo Pani. He's kicking himself.
Yes, he is. That's what the Wiggers are on the field for mostly to do, is to get the 5 points out. But again, it's been a good start from Italy. It's whether they can control this ball, take it into areas that they can exit from and also attack from.
Carry there from the captain Ferrari at number 8. One of the biggest men on the pitch, and it is remarkable. The majority of these players still in their teens, and we've got 2 players at 6'8". And look here at the enterprise. That's Odiese taking play up to halfway, on from Garbisi. The Italians looking to play with wit. Ferrari with the dummy. Brought down Wardle, that was, who came across to make the tackle. Garbisi again onto Taneji. Here's Pani, no problem with the pause on that occasion, but perhaps unaware that he was rather running out of real estate here under the main stand.
Well, they're showing their hand on and they can play it tight. They've got the big runners.
Yeah. Time off.
And again, it's the contact area they're getting through England at the moment. England aren't able to stop them. Put a few dominant tackles in. And these guys can handle. There you go, bit of handoff, and look at this ball. Sorry, get his arms up, get his arms free, popping the ball inside, get your big runners on the ball, and then they stretch it right across the other side of the field. Good play.
And if we compare, Dowie, where these players ply their trade regularly for their clubs, the majority of the England players are in the academies, just bubbling beneath the surface of the first team at the big clubs in England, the Harlequins, the Saracens, the Wasps, the Baths, the Leicesters. Most of these Italians here are playing in the Italian top 10, which is, it's quite a significant gap from the two professional clubs, fully professional clubs.
And that's the difference. I was talking to Conor Richey today. I was talking to Tommy Bell, who actually is playing at Benetton. What do they have to do, Italy? And then expose these youngsters to really sort of white-hot situations week in, week out, and they don't have it, but they've started brilliantly tonight.
There's a good tackle from Lazzarin on Hendy, the fullback, who, when he gets going, he really can canter. Popped up there by Benson, playing impromptu scrum half. The ball was out. That was entirely legal. England failing to protect it. Well, carried forward by Rizzoli.
That was because Jones did quite well to get that ball back initially, but no one stepped in to be number 9.
Genovese, the tight head, and Emeka Ilioni, there he is, the big Leicester Tiger.
He's a big lad and he does well. England not getting it their own way. And this is it. It's good attack mode. Ball going in, and look at that. Holding on. Again, he's got the hold of his weight. That's the mistake happening. You can see Jones coming in on the ball. Unfortunately, he was on the bottom of a rack prior to that. And that's what happened. But England just scrapping that ball back, and that's what you need. Big lads over top of the ball doing it perfectly well and retaining back possession.
Yeah, I must say I'm fascinated watching Emeka Ilioni play tonight. The last time I saw him, I think he was 14, because he used to play in the same club side as my son in Nottingham.
Big appetite, did he then?
He certainly filled out a bit since then, but he really is a brilliant athlete. Learnt his rugby at the Nottingham Corsairs club before moving on to the Tigers, and this time it's the Italians who turn it over. So both sides struggling to protect the ball, their own ball, at the breakdown.
Well, it's the pace of the game is catching people out, on both sides. They're going in, you can see the pod systems there. You got the two hooker taking in second row and tight head prop. But again, if you're not quick enough on that ball, and Italy are, they can stop it. That invariably what gives away. You got the captain now, Finn Baxter, just having a word. But it's all about speed, isn't it? They want, size one quick ball to distribute to the backs. Equally, sometimes you can get isolated then by good defensive sides and one guy over top of the ball who just rips it off you.
Well, 4 penalties conceded by England in the opening 10 minutes. Coaches often say that it's very difficult to win matches if you concede a double-digit number of penalties in the entire match. Carried forward there by Passarella, taking play inside the 22. On there from Odiese, who is getting about tonight. Couple of grabs taken there by Garpisi, but the referee was right on hand to spot the knock-on.
From right.
There he is, Alessandro Garbisi.
Younger brother. But again, you can see the intent is there. Big second row. Otamendi taking that ball in, and it's just there. He just makes a slight mistake. Still held on by the second row. But this thing, no, they do happen. Again, it's when you're trying to play with pace, it's that precision of placing the ball there for the 9. Didn't quite get there. So England again, another chance to. Oh, off we go.
Break foot.
Quickly taken by Matty Jones, the Gloucester scrum half. Here's Ethan Grayson, son of Paul Grayson, the former England fly half. But Matty Jones not gathering that, but then just a little knock on from Italy. And Carlo Barlesi, the back row for Italy, really, they're getting around, aren't they?
They are. They're putting a lot of pressure on. They know that it's England's, you know, even though England were losing that game against Scotland at half-time when they was it 12-10, and they went on eventually to win quite comfortably. But it's all about the pace. It's all about getting England runners going from deep, and that's what they want to do. Hence, obviously, that Italian back row know that they've got to get the heat up at the breakdown, and that's the key area for both sides at the moment. Who can get that ball away clean? Because I think both sides want to attack. England definitely do.
I think the message from the Italy coach Massimo Brunello fairly clear. We can't afford an opening 20 like we saw in France last week, but now the penalty has gone the way of England. So a chance here for England to catch breath and maybe set up a decent field position. It would be for the first time tonight. It's taken 13 minutes.
There we go. England all standing up and Italy long-legged, and hence they go down. But everyone appeals. The referee's given that decision. I think it is correct. The power would have come on for England. Like you said, it's a rare opportunity just outside the 22. England haven't been down this area at all.
Lockett rising high, and there was an Italian just catching hold of his arm, which is illegal, so there is a penalty advantage here.
On the line out, we have a grab in the air. Grab your arm in the air.
There, you heard it from the referee, grabbing the arm in the air.
Again, you're not allowed to touch anybody.
Yeah, in the air. Grab the arm. Yeah.
Yes, it's Alessandro Otombina.
Yeah, he
who was the
didn't
guilty
really.
party.
You think initially it's going to be malicious and something sort of taking a person off balance and making it dangerous for them, but you're not allowed literally to touch anybody's hand in the air, arm. He obviously did. You saw that from the pictures, and now England nudged closer to the line. They like a catch and drive. Here's the information going across.
So 14 minutes gone. England into the Italy 22 for the first time tonight. John Stewart goes again for Lockett. One of those two 6'8" locks they've got. Both are very good line-out options for England. Matty Jones starting in place of Tom Carl-Smith tonight. The Gloucester scrum half being told to use it by the referee. Benson is waiting for it. They miss out Benson, go on to Grayson. There's Benson. Good tackle coming in the midfield from Fazzari. Well, I'm not too sure that that tackle was legal, and perhaps the television match official Eric Gozan wants to look at that as the ball was taken forward by Ilioni. This is rather better from England. That's Litchfield getting caught.
No, play on.
There's Jones again going out wide. That's to Wardle.
Release, tackle!
The carry forward from Alfie Bell, the Wasp. This is rather better from England, the best we've seen tonight from them. That's Finn Baxter, another penalty advantage. This time it's Italy coming offside. Cunning in field, there was more. That's the Italy try line you can see in the background.
Well, Italy have learned from Montemasson last week. I think you're right.
No.
Something the referee needs to check with the TMO legal tackle. I think you're right, Martin. But again,
7 offside or in the line-out.
we'll listen in.
Captain. So in the line-out, it's a second penalty for the same thing. Your number 4 grabs the arm in the air. So no, it's finished.
Is it just the
So
No. Keep the arm. Okay?
Giacomo Ferrari there just clarifying exactly what it is. You're not allowed again to touch it on. That's 2 penalties on the row. But again, you've got to admire the line speed that Italy put into this game. Something that, again, to go back to the point they didn't do down in Montemasson. But again, it's a fine line when you're firing off that line, trying to stop England. To buy a few penalties, and that's exactly what's happening. England want to calm things down, get the ball back to Stewart and start all over again. Remember, Italy on 2 penalties for taking that arm out. Hopefully for them it's not a third.
John Stewart, his 3rd appearance for England tonight at this level. The turn now of the Azzurri Blue to defend them all, and they've done a very good job of it. Jones feeds out. That's on to Grayson. Jones again, change of direction. Ilioni had to check his stride just for a moment to grab that, but he made good ground from a standing start. Jones, there goes Bell, powering his way forward. 4 metres out here, England. Jones feeds the ball out. Litchfield, tremendous hands. The floated pass. And it's finished off by Diego Bailey. But I think the referee wants to check something here with her assistant.
Crossing.
No, I don't.
She doesn't want to use the TMO tonight. Eric Gozan can go home. She's making those decisions with help from the touch judge. Again.
Well, that's good, isn't it?
Yeah, I totally agree. Totally agree. Why waste 2 minutes? It's the guy that's gone past. That was a try scored, no problem at all by Bailey, but unfortunately it was the guy in front who didn't quite catch the picture. Maybe you did, Martin, but again, you're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to take anyone out the way that a try scoring opportunity could happen. So Italy live again. Again, their line speed is outstanding. Good play. Well, good attacking play from England, good defence from Italy, and a good decision from the referee.
Well, it's the same officials quartet we saw in Edinburgh last weekend for the game between Scotland and England.
Did he not pull him across? Did the defender not pull the attacker across?
No, Finn Baxter just clarifying, I think it's the polite way of referring to it.
As captains are allowed, so you can inquire to the referee. Actually, he's saying, did the Italian defender, did he actually pull the defender rather than cross it himself? So he actually pulled the defender into him. But it's gone, it's scratched off, it doesn't matter. I think we've got a good game here.
9.
And that's key for Italy. Scrum and line, it has to be clean. Oh dear, there's another one.
Oh, but then it's knocked on by Stewart. So Italy breathe again, but they've lost one already and almost lost a second.
Here it is. I thought he'd come off his knee, but he didn't. Stewart just got his fingers on it as well. You're going to say England will not be happy, or, you know, Alan Dickens won't be happy with this start. It's a bit sluggish, but credit to Italy. I mean, they have really fired up their defence. They know they have to get into England's faces, make it uncomfortable for them. Good crowd in here, perfect conditions. We've got a good contest.
And there is this ongoing debate about the Italy senior team. What is it, 33 straight defeats in the Guinness Six Nations. But the junior side are becoming more and more competitive with each passing season. They beat the Scots last year. They ran both Ireland and France very, very close. England to 10 points in that final game last season. And here they are, it's early days. We're not yet through the opening quarter of the match, Dowie, but they do lead by 3 points to 0.
Well, they could have, should have beaten France down in Cardiff last year with the penalty they had. But again, this is what lets them down. It's this precision, playing for the full 80 minutes, letting teams back into the game. England make a mistake, but the big mistake was them not getting into touch. Oh, everything's going Italy's way. Apart from those precise kicks, I think she's saying it knocked on in contact when he just fell over his shoelace, his bootlace.
Yeah, it's Francis Moore, the Saracen, making his debut at under-20 level.
So you could say he's released that ball, but he hasn't. It's gone forward, it's rolled an inch forward. Again, another correct decision from the referee. It doesn't bear true, really, does it, from what I've been seeing, but 64 possession to England.
Well, we saw that in the Calcutta Cup last week. It was England with 2/3, 3/4 of possession and territory, but in the end they lost the match.
It's what you do with the scraps, or what you do when you've got the ball.
So the put in from Garbisi. Solid scrum. Ferrari holding it. Look at that. They're trying to force the penalty here. They've got the penalty advantage. Now they can have a go.
Stand up. Under pressure.
That is the 7th penalty that England have conceded in the opening quarter. Now take that through. 28 penalties in a match. It's very, very difficult to win matches when you're conceding penalties at that rate.
Massimo, the Italian coach, will be looking at this, and that's the second, I believe, in 2 scrums now, so that's the second scrum penalty, and that isn't good for England pack, who've always prided themselves on being able to do that, have the power game. But it just shows you a motivated side, and this is what this Italian under-20s are. They're good. They're a good bunch. And as we talk about so many good guys going through the system for England, Ireland, France, whatever, the same thing has to happen for these guys. They've got to play in a good competition, but they've got to show themselves on this stage, and they're doing that this evening.
So Nicolo Tanegi, a very sweet striker of the rugby ball. Well, that's one that got away, just slipping by the right hand upright.
Don't look at the forward's eyes, whatever you do. Fly half. You may not like what you see, because that's a given. Sorry, but that's a given. 3. And that's again what Italy have to do. Every opportunity they have to take in this Six Nation. Alan Dickens saying that there is no easy game. There aren't easy games, because if you're off the speed a little bit, you know, you are going to get found out.
Well, I think Alfie Bell has taken a bump to the head, has he? Well, he's carrying on, I think. So it would appear he's been given a clean bill of health. Believe me, if there was any doubt about a bang to the head, he would be sent off for a head injury assessment. Ball gathered there by May, the fullback. It's Ferrari. Well, that's high for a bell. Well, I think it was even higher than that, wasn't it? Long pass here out to Pani. Pani just trying to get round more.
Okay, advantage for
Yes, the referee has received a word in the ear from Eric Gauzin. There he is again, the captain, Ferrari, and then hooking the ball round to his back row mate Odiese, but then the ball lost forward, but we'll come back to the penalty. It's quite a yomp across the pitch, back to the point.
Yeah, it wasn't malicious. He is going down and take his time to take it, but a 6'8" second row, 6'10" second row, whatever he's always going to stretch his arms out. No malicious, not malicious at all in that. Drags him down. But because of the many concussions we've got and the work being done, it's deemed a high tackle.
Yes, no, it's not over because the holding gun is good.
Well, Finn Baxter's learning all the tricks of the trade, isn't he?
He's not getting much change out of her, I tell you.
No.
Not at all. It was a penalty, that's all it was, no problem. They were playing advantage. And you can't talk your way out of that one.
No.
Well, now the Italians are asking for a yellow card.
High tackle, yes. Only Piqué here.
I think the Italians might have stolen a couple of metres with the mark as well, but you can see there.
Every kick it does, Martin. Just put it down there as the ref turns it back a little. You move forward, you move the kicking tee forward if you're going for goal. But this is again a great opportunity. There you go. It's not. I mean, he's going down in the tackle. He's trying to put his shoulder into the England forward. And now the Italians will put the shoulder into this.
On there to Passarella. Passarella getting through one tackle. Look at the power. The Italians doing so well here. On to Odiese. The ball from wide here to Ferrari, just going through the tacklers, I must say. This England defence at the moment looking rather suspect.
Use it!
The Englishman has to get out of there. There it is again for Garbisi.
It's over. Not swapping the player. No.
On from Garbisi again, and then it's dropped by Ottambina, but the referee said the ball went backwards. Elione feeds the ball out to Stewart. Stewart, the hooker. Right into the rather physical presence of Giacomo Ferrari, the Italy captain. Well, you have to say, England have been rather stunned here. Jones gets it away, but that will be an Italy line-out. Just what, 5 or 6 metres or so outside the England 22.
Yeah, the Gloucester nine's not happy with that. He didn't get the height. Well, he didn't get the distance he wants, but this lad gets the yardage he wants. That's what you need. Your back row, so your centres, Passerelli going forward, giving a target for the forwards. That's the mistake. And unfortunately, you know, Italy are just being superb this evening. They just get that pace up. They're hitting everything that moves. The ruck speed is up. They're getting the support there, and then they do the nitty-gritty stuff as well.
Look at this. It's very well choreographed by the Italians. That's the England 22 you can see now. Well, England have got the turnover.
The ball isn't playable, it's a
Much to the disappointment of Luca Rizzoli.
Well, they worked that very well, England, because again they were under a slight bit of pressure. Italy had the initial push on, but again you get guys at the back there. He's off. Well, he's taking his. The weight is on his knees. You're not allowed to do that. Maybe the referee saw something I didn't. But I think England can count themselves lucky. There's a few cheers going up, cheers of relief, because there's one side going for it and it's not in a white shirt.
Well, Alfie Bell has just been getting some treatment again. There is Giacomo Ferrari, plays his club rugby at Capitolina, which is down in Rome, rather as the...
His massive yardage and tremendous pace, but really that guy was the nuts and bolts of good things, good future. But again, he gets a bad ball from Toby Knight off the base. And you heap pressure back on yourself. You don't exit well. There you go. England have to do better.
England are the most successful team in the history of this championship. They've won 56 of their 75 matches in the under-26 nations. So Garbisi with a put in.
Yes, the ball is out.
Well, that was well timed by Jones, but Italy have done rather well to get the ball away. Pani taking the ball into the contact. There's Garbisi again, driven forward by Andrioli. Ottambina, the try scorer against France there, wearing the blue headgear. On that time to Belasi. Decent little step coming from Toneggi, but then it's knocked on. Chance now for England to counter. This is where they were so dangerous last week against the Scots.
No.
The ball taken outside the 22, and that really hasn't got enough depth in it, but the referee has blown the whistle. And it's a knock-on from Italy.
Offside number 4, yeah.
Well,
so
now...
you have a knock-on here by blue. Scrum right.
Right.
We've got it in the end, yeah.
We did hear a cry of offside at one point, but she's well and truly in charge tonight.
As referee should be. But Toneggi is playing a super game outside half for Italy. He's calling all the shots, out the back balls, just playing the ball at flat, controlling matters, bringing his forwards on. Usually a little step in there, and that goes to hand. That guy's through. I'm not saying he will score a try, Frangini, but again, this guy's impressed as well.
Yeah.
They're not driving straight, they're driving across.
Passarella. Again, just that target. That's what your forwards need. Nothing too flashy.
Okay.
I don't think the decisions the ref's making, Finn Baxter, are the problems with England at the moment.
Yes, Baxter's complaining about the technique being shown by the Italy front five. Baxter, who wasn't available to Alan Dickens last week because he was called back to Harlequins, came off the bench in that defeat at home to Sale last weekend.
Time on.
So we're almost up to the half hour. Just a single penalty coming from Niccolò Toneggi, the Italy.
who's helping out on the defensive coaching for the England under-21s. Ex-Harlequin centre, good lad. But again, he prided himself on defence, and he will not like those stats at all. Hence, that's the pace that Italy are putting on the game and the angles they're running.
Set!
Well, I think it's just possible here that Finn Baxter
Number 1.
is starting to have a bit of an impact
Straight.
on
No, it's fine.
the
It's fine.
referee.
One,
Luca
not
Rizzoli
straight.
has been penalised.
Well, the penalty's given for coming round the side and then driving in. Ferrari wanted a chat, but obviously there's some replacements that can happen, come off the bench if this continues. But you've got to say Italy have got the ascendancy there. That time deemed illegal, but again, it's not the platform that that lad there, Jamie Benson, wants. Power.
England making half a dozen changes tonight, plus a positional switch. There's Benson. That was Litchfield, Grayson, the two Northampton players in the midfield. Bailey taking the ball into the contact. There's Benson again. England up to halfway, and Italy penalised this time.
That's what they just need to do, is keep hold of the ball, but protect
No,
that ball as well.
The first time.
And that was given, again, Italy have had some success at the breakdown, but you're not allowed to place your hands past the ball to take your weight. You've got to get on that ball. You've got to give England a chance to make sure it's secure. You're covering the space, basically. Good kick. Now, England, you need to show something. That's the first time, well, not saying the first time, the people have been direct. Finn Baxter having a bit of a hard day in the scrum, but he can carry hard and carry well. Likens himself to Maca Vernopolo.
The concern within the Italy camp is, are they able to last 80 minutes at this tempo? The majority of these players for Italy plying their trade in the Italian top 10. Unlike these Englishmen here who are on the fringes of Premiership rugby. That's well orchestrated by the men in white. Italy on defensive duty.
Stay back.
Jones looking for the ball, trying to get it off Bell, but Bell rather reluctant to pass it on.
Well, Jones had his chance there initially about 3 seconds ago. He wanted to go. Unfortunately, couldn't get that hand on the ball and get Bell's hands free. So they've got to go back into the trenches now.
Wardle that time with the carry. There it is again for England. Toby Knight, scorer of 2 tries last week. Was a little bit of an injury doubt here, but came through the warm-up. That was a little go from Lockett. Out here to Stewart. Trying to take on the soft shoulder of the fly-half, or at least he was hoping it would be. Here's Litchfield. Man has been involved in 4 Premiership games for Northampton, but it was stolen and cleared by Passarella.
Again, great work, scramble in defence. Passarella has been a key man for them, carrying the ball, and that time just scraping back the pill. That England, I think, firstly got it right, putting a forward against the number 10. That time they didn't. Italy still under pressure, still in the wrong area, but again, they're scrapping this game.
There he is, Dowie. He's got the right name, hasn't he?
There's not many of us about.
Dowie Passarella.
I know.
He plays for the Ruggers Tarvisium Club, which is actually the second team here in Treviso, with Tarvisium is the old Roman name for Treviso.
Well, I think if he carries on playing that, he'll be in the first very quickly, because again, he's shown the way. These big lads up front need a way sometimes, and again, he's bust his line. He's
Time is on.
again got the ball back. He's put his body on the line in a sense, and good on him. And that's allowed Tenaci the 10 to play, because he's got an option not only with the forwards, he's got an option then with the backs.
5 called for the line-out. It was Lockett rising high. Powerful carry by England. Chance here perhaps to create something this time. Bell it is who just drops his shoulder and goes in. It's another penalty advantage conceded by the Italians.
Jones just wants to take the penalty. Go on, go, 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 go.
Jones is away quickly. Otumbina having to make the tackle. It's there for Bell. Bell spinning and turning. There it is for Lockett. Lockett has a little go himself. It's now Stewart. He's got his eyes up. Another pick up and drive by England. Another penalty advantage here. So the pressure mounting on Italy. The ball was dropped, but the referee says it went backwards. It's a free hit to England. Out there to Litchfield. Oh, and once again England unable to make anything of it, but they will have the penalty.
Well, Italy is so offside, we've got to say they know exactly what England are trying to do. Hit it up at the 10 and pull it out the back.
It's the same message for the white.
Listen to the ref.
It's the same message. So you have too many penalties. Here, it's you have the on the field. So the on is offside. You have penalty here.
So it's cumulative penalties. Somebody possibly could go to the bin.
Offside.
Take one for the team. It's what England want to do now. Go the catch and drive. They're in this game hugely, even though the scoreline would suggest that Italy have had the majority of the possession, I would suggest. But I think the right thing is to put the pressure on now, force their hand, and if there is another penalty, possibly two, they'll start the second half just with 14 men, so that advantage to England. He's not happy. Again, he's not getting the speed of the ball, and that's coming from Italy's defensive set. Slightly offside on occasion. That's why the penalties are ratcheting up. Now here we go.
So it's the Bath hooker. John Stewart goes short and it's poached. Tap back by Otumbina.
Scrum 5.
But it was taken back over the try line, so they couldn't really afford to do that.
Trying to be cute. England with no jumper going up.
Scrum on 5.
Italian second row has seen that, but again, by putting that back down there, it's gone. It is his. Ooh, was it? Was it an England hand? It doesn't make, again, the referee's made that decision to put into England, but we knew what happened on the last scrum. Big Italian push, but it was illegal, so this is now a time to bite down on the strap, deliver the ball, and give Benson a chance.
No. You have full engagement, keep the space.
Never a bad time, of course, to score a try, but I often say just before half-time that could really change the complexion of the contest. 3.5 minutes to go, less than now.
Well, it could dent Italy's pride, couldn't it? They've done so hard, so much, so well, and to go in losing this half, and you've got to say dominated for large periods.
Passions are running deep. Tensions high, and if there was a little bit of rather colourful language coming into your living room, we apologise. There's Ilioni. He's taken it quickly, but he's been held up. There it is still for England. That Italian line under siege. Well, the Italian crowd have seen something they didn't like. There you can see Finn Baxter just doing a bit of directing of traffic, and particularly the opposition defence. Stewart's got his hands on the ball. The last 2.5 minutes of the half. We're still waiting for our first try. Italians have to get back. Look at them, rather like sprinters in the starting box.
Okay, we have no.
Let's listen in to the referee here.
T'as le numéro, Eric, sur le hors-jeu? Offside.
How many more?
Just communicating again with a toucher. There's a good partnership going on here. The Leicester Tiger takes that penalty.
And after?
It's offside. There's nothing going on there. The Italian props holding those guys back.
Did you hear Finn Baxter say how many more? He's looking for the yellow. Getting forced back. It's not just 15 men in blue, but 2,500 Italians watching the match here. Head down that time from Mikey Summerfield. One more drive, perhaps. Bell being held up. Look at the effort here from this Italian defence. Now they're holding it up. They're looking to get the put in. The Italians get it. and they celebrate it like they've scored a try.
And silly enough, that could be even better than scoring a try for Italy. Look at them. They're all over each other. Again, Bell took that ball and you think the momentum was going up. They had 2 or 3 faces. The pace was being put on the ball. People were coming around the corner and he's just too high. Held up by the puckish figure of the fly half. Smallest guy on the field, and everyone gets involved. That guy, Passarelli's in, all the forwards come in, hold it up, and if you hold that guy in, you get the put into the scrum, and that's what it means to these guys. Tremendous defence.
I understand.
Brilliant defence.
That is all the time.
Where Italy are concerned, it's the first 40, which has been the antithesis of the one we saw at Mont-de-Marsan. 3 tries conceded in the opening half hour. They did get one right on the stroke of half-time, but they were trailing 22-0 early on, and though they competed well for the last hour or so of the match.
No pre-engagement.
Interesting, yeah. I think this will just be in and out and try and waste as much time, get the clock into red. But Benson and Jones, the 2 fly halves, were having, it's the first time they play together. They're having a mothers' meeting out there. Well, that will come into fruition, I'm sure, in the second half, saying, look, you've just got to give me more pace and more pace on the pass and some more space.
Fine.
Finn Baxter up against Riccardo Genovese over on this side of the front row. It's another good, solid Italian scrum, and look at that, they're forcing the penalty.
Well, you don't see that very often, do you? And these Italian boys at front have been eating their pasta or doing the right thing. They have gone one way. And that, I think that's the 3rd penalty now. Look at Ferrari, the captain, on cue. This is in red, this will go off.
Place the ball before, just place the ball.
And the ball will go off, they'll go into the dugouts, and I think that's a very good half for Italy, fantastic half.
Well, it's 40 minutes in which the scoreline doesn't really reflect the entertainment value. Italy, well, you'd have to say, they are full value for the half-time lead. It's in Treviso at halfway, Italy 3, England 0.